in person from the clubhouse. Is everybody having a good time this evening?
Make some noise!
Having an absolute blast. We wish that you were here. We wish that you were here. Don't we wish they were there?
Absolutely. And typically we start our show off with a shout out that says, "First sip, let's go!" Take you a drink.
So we've been doing First Sip now, 200 straight episodes, live every single morning at 7:55. 200 straight episodes. What you think, Fred?
It's not enough. The people want more.
The people want more. So we're so excited to be in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I've lived here my whole life. Fred, I know you've lived here your whole life too.
I have lived here 37 years.
37 years.
My entire life.
Wow. Yeah. And so we're very excited to be here. We're going to ask some people up. First, I'd like to thank the Fidelity Bank for being the drink sponsor. I think everybody's enjoyed that drink tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and have Brian Murdoch with Fidelity Bank come on up. And he's going to tell us a little bit about all of the great things going on with the Fidelity Bank. Brian, you're our first guest here. Welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate you having me here today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone coming. Hope you enjoy your time.
Yeah. So tell us about the Fidelity Bank. I know you guys have a new building that's going to be built right here downtown. Tell us about that.
So we've bought and got everything approved to build at 305 North Church Street. It's at the corner of Daniel Morgan and North Church, beside the Marriott. So we're going to build a nice two-story, 9 or 10,000 square foot location, drive-through, so we'll be able to serve Spartanburg from there.
That's awesome.
You know you're going to smell Krispy Kreme every day at work.
Yeah.
We will, hopefully so, and maybe they'll put a gym nearby so we can kind of balance it out now that Nautilus is not there.
So tell me this, Brian. There's a lot of great things happening in the Spartanburg community. Why did y'all decide that downtown would be a great location for your new office here in Spartanburg?
So with Fidelity Bank, a little background, Fidelity Bank is a 115-year-old bank. We bank small businesses, individuals. We can handle everything from your residential mortgage to wealth to trust to lending and deposits. And so Spartanburg's community where I grew up, and most of my career has been here. Fidelity Bank came here after meeting. We met and so decided to come here. But in Spartanburg, it's so much growth. It's dynamic. Their business is moving in every day. I know everyone in this room has been a beneficiary of that, of this solid growth. If you've lived here all this time, all this that's going on downtown, I mean, I remember when this was a kiddie corner many years ago, and you could buy school clothes here, and Main Street was blocked off. But now, I mean, so much energy, so much activity. Fidelity Bank, we can't wait to get our main office open.
Absolutely, and we're excited about that as well. And he said the word, it's about the energy, and that's what we talk a lot about on First Sip. It's getting that energy for the day, the energy of the community, the momentum of the community. Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, so that was our first guest, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to some of the great people that are in the room, and we've got a lot of them. And what I think we've asked now is that Alex, let's go ahead and have Alex and John. I'm sorry, what was your name again? I'm sorry. Richard.
Richard. Alex and Richard.
Hey, I just met him, folks. All right, come on up.
It's live. That happens.
Yeah. Alex, great to see you, man. Yeah. So
come on in. Get tight. Act like you know.
Where do you want me to sit?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you sit right there. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I got the AstroTurf
No,
here.
that's how we're going to do it. So sometimes we have to get a little creative logistically, but I wanted to talk to you guys about what you have going on. Alex, I know you've got a big project that you're doing. You're going to be raising a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's why I have this man here, Richard Yergin III. So our goal is to raise $1 million for cancer research, childhood cancer research, and also Clemson Life scholarships, amongst a few other things. Richard, you mind elaborating a little bit?
Yeah. So I myself go by Professor Yerg, former two-time national champion at Clemson University.
Let's go.
Come on now.
Go Tigers.
I'm not hearing enough Tigers in here. Now current professor at the university, going into my fourth year, PhD student. So, my heart is in education. In 2017, I had my football career stripped from me. I broke my neck in a severe car wreck in Greenville, South Carolina, June 3rd, 2017, which changed the trajectory from the NFL to real life, real fast. And so now, full circle moment, I'm here to pay it forward because in Greenville, we've had a recent uproar in teen violence. One of the things that have struck a chord with me that have let me know that, hey, you know, it could have been my child. Recently in the Fleetwood community, which is a Section 8 housing community in Greenville, there was a shooting where 2 5-year-olds were left dead. Well, excuse me, one is pronounced dead, the other one is in critical condition. And they were doing what they should do, which is hide up under a mattress if they hear gunshots. And teen violence broke out, and let's just say those bullets found under the mattress those 2 individuals. And so, you know, there's going to be a everlasting impact behind that shooting that's going to lead to a series of follow-up. And so the thing that me and Alex have decided is that we're going to speak up, right? And so August the 28th on Clemson University's campus, we're hosting a conference in collaboration with the university as well as several other nonprofit organizations, and looking for a title sponsor to draw in at least $100,000 to sponsor the event. We already have several that have committed at a large amount, and I'm just putting it out there that we're fiercely moving forward in everything that we do. And so whether it's Clemson University or beyond, I challenge you all to know what's going on, to be current. I mean, my wife will probably get upset with me. We live in the suburbs now, but we didn't always live in the suburbs. You see what I'm saying? So the reality is I understand both sides of the coin. And so I want to make sure that the barriers are removed and that we build bridges towards access for students. You know, it's not always about color. It's about the content of character, right? And so I think at the end of the day, it's not a black and white issue. It's a God issue. And so the reality is he needs to show up at some point and prove to the people that the Holy Spirit still lives.
For sure.
It's the reality of it.
Let's give it up.
Let's not skip over something. He said something very important. And First Sip is a mindset show. So you had aspirations of playing in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That changed with a car crash. Mm-hmm. What was your mindset to get through that transition and come out stronger?
So Coach Sweeney, he would often say this to us: God never says oops. And so instead of saying why me, how about try me?
Yeah.
Right? Like go read the story of Job, the book of Job, right? God recommended Job for adversity. God recommended me June 3rd, 2017. Yeah, break his neck. He can handle it. Right? I didn't know at the time I would be able to handle it, but the doctor said, look, most people in your situation are usually either dead or they're paralyzed for the rest of their life sitting here in Prisma Health in Greenville, and you're neither, right? So you're going to get up and walk and live to proclaim the gospel, right? Eventually. But, you know, going through that process, man, it's tough, man. You go through ideations of suicide. You go through drug abuse. You go through alcohol abuse. You go through all of it, man. My wife stood the test of times with me. You know, I got clean as of 5 years ago, and like I said, gave my life and rededicated myself over to the Lord, and he did the rest, right? So now I'm walking in my best years are ahead of me, you know, as I'm walking into tenure at the university at Clemson as the youngest African-American professor to do that before the age of 30, securing a PhD, traveling the country, speaking, best-selling author. None of those things would be possible without putting God first, others second, and myself last and third.
Bam!
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Fantastic. And what's your motivation to join such a where does that motivation for you come from, Alex?
So honestly, me meeting Richard was God engineered. I met him through a good friend of mine named Richard Hall, who has his own business developing young D1 athletes and getting them out into workforce. So I was there just for one of his conferences, and I met Richard. He told me he was an econ professor and he was about to get his PhD done. So naturally, I was like, I need to connect with this guy. I need to tell him what not to do when writing his thesis. Because a long time ago, I did a master's thesis on basketball, but that's aside. But the point is, it's near and dear to my heart and totally got engineered, one, me meeting him, but then the other thing is that I've always wanted to put on a charity road race. Like, I was this close to putting on the Run for Those Who Can't a year ago to raise money for childhood cancer and cystic fibrosis research, and I had a lot of the pieces in place, but I just did not have the time, nor was it just the right things working out. It was just an obstacle after another to keep it from happening, because originally it was going to be downtown Greenville, but just the permits did not work out, and I just took that as a, hey, let's wait, let's pray on it, and wait to do this in God's timing. To which not only did Richard say, hey, do you want to help me with this conference, but he's like, hey, I want to have a 5K involved with it too. And I said, well, hey, I've got some of the logistics already set
Now,
up.
look, what is your relationship with running? Now, why would you mention running?
Running? Oh, man. Running. That's an interesting one. Do I do that? Oh, yeah. So I was on this guy's podcast a long time ago when I used to have a running streak going, which I believe at the time it was like 1,935 days, but then it ended abruptly at 2,206 days. When
2,206 days.
2,206 days straight.
When that's 1 mile every day, but for me, like, it ended up being about 9.2 miles a day, just because one isn't enough most of the time. It's an acquired addiction, and one of the best addictions you can have out there besides being addicted to the Lord. But
Amen.
but at the same time, though, basically, it's all about consistency. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I believe it was Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of little minds, but what I add to that is a deliberate piece of consistency can help you take your life back one day at a time, to which for me that's running. God put me here to help people, inspire people through my running, to which I had a lung condition going into my freshman year of high school. That one of the first prayers I ever said was, Lord, if you're there, I've squandered a gift you've given me. If you give me a second chance, I'll do it for you. And within 2 weeks, my lungs were cleared. So from that moment on, I've run for God and for those who can't, which is naturally the mission and my conviction around the run for those who can't. But then it's also a matter of cancer, which cancer is something that is close to home with me, which I've got my wife here, and I promise not to get too far into this, but we lost her father this year to cancer. And I actually ran a 200-mile relay on his birthday on 4/12, and I dedicated every bit of those miles to him, 27 miles, and I felt like he was there every step of the way along with me, along with the Holy Spirit. So raising money to, put an end to cancer is near and dear to my heart. It fires me up.
Yeah. Now, does anybody doubt these two guys?
Hey, yeah, we talk about why, your why. They talk about your why being that driver. When you have something, you have a dream, you have a passion, and you have a strong why. Like the passion you heard in Alex's voice, the passion that you heard from these guys, that's real, and that's what gets things done. So we put these things in our mind, we get passionate about it, we get a strong why, and we make awesome things happen like you guys have. So thanks for coming in this morning. This afternoon. Have a morning show.
Yeah, thanks.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you, Daniel.
All right. Hey, I know we've got a lot of great people in here, and now we've got to decide who we want to talk to next, Fred. I've got a couple of names in my mind right now.
Do you?
Yes.
Say them.
Frederick Keenan to the stage, and Moody Black. Frederick Keenan and Moody Black. I'd love to talk to these folks. Come on up, Moody. Yeah.
Come on.
There you go. Come on up, Keenan.
Didn't expect this.
Yes, sir. Come on, man. Come on.
This is definitely impromptu. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Good to see you.
Where's Moody? Yeah, Moody up here with me.
Are we going to be able to get us all in the frame here? Hey, and I'd like to have you on up here. Yeah, come on up.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Black.
Yeah.
Man, how you doing, man?
So-
Good to see you, brother.
So this is another. These two fellas have been on the podcast. We enjoyed each of these episodes. The first time that I met Mr. Frederick Keenan, he was giving a speech at Toastmasters, and I've told him this before. His speech inspired me to not only continue in Toastmasters, but to continue doing what I was doing. And it moved me. It showed me what you can do with speaking. So, hey, I appreciate that,
Yeah,
Keenan.
yeah, good
and
stuff,
and
man.
tell us about your speaking and what you've done for years with young people.
All right, so I'm not really into the speaking as much as I was before when I was at Toastmasters.
Okay.
I enjoyed that, still enjoy speaking whenever the opportunity lends itself to that. But what I'm doing now is more on the education side. I work with juniors and seniors in District 7, assisting them to go to college. And so I focus on specific low-income areas in Spartanburg, the Highland, Northside areas, where kids who maybe have a dream of going to college but don't really know how to do it and don't know the process because they're first gen, never experienced that in their families. And so I come in as their guide and I help them fill out their FAFSA, help them fill out college applications, help them navigate through the whole entire process. You'd be surprised how many moving parts are in just getting a kid from graduation to the first semester of college.
And they have no idea.
And they have no idea what those parts are.
Yeah.
I've never experienced those before in their lives. And so they don't have that family support at home a lot. And so I come in as their guide and just help them through that process. I got about 20 right now that I'm working with. I'm going to graduation tomorrow to support them in graduation. And it's just a fun job to have. I was just talking to one of my buddies over there, Chris, and we were talking about just breaking that generational curse kind of thing. We have so many communities who suffer under the fact that nobody in their family ever went to college, and they don't know how to build generational wealth.
Yeah.
And so what my job is to help them be able to break through some of those barriers. And so it's a really enjoyable job. It
All
really
right,
is.
I love all that. Now let me ask you this. One of the things that we talk about all the time, it's amazing how many connections you have. We have a mindset show, so we're free to talk to anybody. And I talked to you guys separately, and didn't y'all know each other?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
We didn't know that.
I think we followed each other on social media.
on
and everything.
LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn,
Well,
yeah.
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, Moody, you tell folks what you do and what you've been doing for years.
Well, first of all, can I do an energy check real
Let's
quick?
go. Yeah,
I'm all about energy. Now, I grew up watching wrestling. My auntie said wrestling. And one of my favorite wrestlers was Ric Flair. That's right, woo! So when I say, can I get a Ric Flair, I want y'all to clap 2 times. And woo! All right, I'm ready. All right, energy check. Can I get a Ric Flair? Woo! There it is. Now we back.
you
Now
go.
we back. My name is Moody Black. I do everything except sing. Don't ask me to sing, because I'll run you out of here.
But he does have a song.
But I do have a song where I'm rapping. So I rap, I do comedy, I'm a teaching artist, I'm an actor, comedian, and I'm here also to promote my one-man stage play in Spartanburg this Saturday. So y'all make sure y'all holler at your boy. I got tickets. It's got everything. Love, loss, laughter, and learning about yourself. Yeah, so that's what I do. A little bit of everything. I cut your grass good, give me a lawnmower.
If you did not watch the first Sip show with Moody on it, go back and watch it.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And tell us why energy is so important. You did the energy check. Why is it so important? to
It
get people
is.
energized?
It draws everybody in to keep us on one accord, to keep us focused. You know what I'm saying? We get everybody on one accord. We can move mountains. We can make things happen. I'm all about that. I'm all about making things happen.
Absolutely. And
Like
I-
everybody here is making things happen. I love it.
Yeah. And we're so happy to have you guys here with us. Any messages before we invite somebody up here this morning or this afternoon?
It's typically a morning show, folks.
I still got my coffee mug. I still got my
Hey,
coffee
whatever your passion is, follow it. I got to shout out to my team. My man Jake got me here. My booking manager Ronnie snuck in. He like me shouting him out. I'm gonna shout him out anyway. He's in the corner, my man Ronnie.
I didn't see Ronnie. There,
Yeah, he
Ronnie.
snuck in.
Yeah.
He's gonna cuss me out later.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to you guys for having this, man. Y'all clap it up.
Yeah.
Clap it up.
Hey, we're really enjoying this. We appreciate the spot. We appreciate you guys coming in, giving us that energy, giving us all these great things to think about for ourselves and inspire us all. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Now, I like that. You know, that boom, boom. Oh, yeah.
There are so many people that we can celebrate and validate that we just don't know until we network.
Yep. Get out there, meet people, talk to them. Everybody seems like they've done a lot of amazing things. And when we get to know and talk to people, that's one of the things that's impressed me about doing a lot of interviews over the last 10 years. When you get to talking to people, you realize how much talent's out there.
Oh, yeah.
How hard people work. They're taking care of families. They're taking care. And I mean, you do that.
Me?
Yeah. Even Fred. So, okay, who's next to the stage? You know I had one person that saved me at an event. I needed somebody to talk to. I was looking desperately, and a superhero came to save the day. His name was Aaron Jacobins, and he's going to come up right now. All right.
I did not bring my cape. I did not bring my cape. But not all heroes wear capes. Right?
Yeah.
Evening, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I want to start with that, the way that you and I met.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing I'd never done facility management focus, another little podcast that I have. We were doing that live at the IFMA event.
The luncheon.
The luncheon.
Yes, sir.
And you said,
So what is IFMA?
IFMA is International Facility Management Association.
Fantastic group. If you're not a part of that group, definitely check it out. It's amazing.
And what you have there, you have buyers and sellers in the same room, right? So you have facility managers, and you have folks like yourself, Aaron, and you work with.
I'm with Refrigeration Heroes, so we handle all of your commercial refrigeration, cooking equipment for hospitality facilities, HVAC. And the interesting thing was, I was on the podcast, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and I said sometimes it starts with something as simple as an ice machine.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
And
yes.
And it was actually a facilities manager that was on there named Trent, a wonderful person. And he actually instant messaged me on LinkedIn while we were on the podcast and said, "It's funny you say that because we have an ice machine that we can't seem to get run in a corner and get fixed." He said, "Would you be willing to come out?" I said, "I did." And now he's turning into one of the best customers we have.
And that's why we have conversations out in public. We talk about what we do. We talk about who we are. We talk about know, like, and trust. So I talk about this a lot. Know, like, and trust. We do that through proximity. Yeah. There's no other way to get to know someone. So that's why we enjoy doing that. But you stepped up to the plate that day, Aaron. If you recall, I wasn't sure who I was going to call on.
That's right.
And there's always a little bit of anxiety as a host. Mm-hmm. But you stepped up to the plate, and I've noticed you're doing a lot on LinkedIn with your marketing. You're doing a great job with that. Where does the guts to say me and to walk through that, where does that come from?
Well, I think it's not only proximity, but it's differentiating yourself from your competition. And competition is good. I actually run 2 competition. But I think things like social media and having a presence that's unique, and in our world, in our lens, when it comes to a service provider with what we do, social media is not a big play that I think a lot of companies have. And so I felt like we had a niche there. I don't know a ton about social media, to be honest with you, so I'm kind of learning. But it's about that education outside of your formal education, and things like your podcast and the networking and those types of relationships that you build is where you get that confidence. You get that confidence to say, hey, I'm going to do something a little unique. And then when you start to get that momentum going, you start to get that energy like you talk about, it makes a big difference. So
it really does. And I've got another question, but I want to let Fred ask.
You want people to be familiar with you.
You do.
That way they call you, text you, email to do business.
Correct.
If they don't know about you, I promise you can't get their business.
But it's funny you say know about you, because if you follow the social media, what I try to do is I don't make it all about Refrigeration Heroes, because we're all people. And we have things that are outside of work. We have things that are work, that are work related. And so for me, I try to mix it up, and I think that's been working. That's not me. That's not me taking the credit. It's just kind of putting things out there, seeing what people are following, what they're liking. So.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I've noticed, I've talked to a lot of, say, HVAC companies. I've talked to a lot of different types of vendors in a lot of different types of industries. And what I've noticed, I talked to the people that you do business with. So I've heard a lot of good things about you guys, right?
That's good. That's good.
I mean, I haven't told you that, but it's about the systems and processes that you guys have. Tell me why that's so important to make sure that all your guys are doing the same thing each time they're on site.
So one of the big pieces, a lot of competitors that we have when it comes to their technicians, they have their maintenance technicians and they have their service technicians.
Right.
Their maintenance techs are more of your apprentices, right? Your newer, they just graduated from school, and then your service technicians are your more experienced, your senior. So one thing that I realized very quickly is we just needed to have techs. We don't need to have maintenance techs and we don't need to have service techs. We just need to have techs. So we need to have the best roster of techs doing everything from just an ice machine all the way up to being on the roof fixing, units and fixing HVAC. So that was a big thing, and really something that we try to ingrain into our entire company is do what you say you're going to do long after the mood in which you said it has left.
Oh yeah,
Right?
I like that.
And so for us, it's hey, if we say yes, we're going to do this job and we're going to quote this job and we want to do business with you, no matter how much in the weeds we get with it, we're going to do, not perfect, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we do our part like we committed to do from the beginning, which I hope is why you're hearing a lot of the positive feedback, Daniel, about the service we provide.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I'm hearing it, right?
Well, that's
So
good. Thank
there
you.
you go.
Yeah.
Something good's happening.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, thank
Eric.
you so
Yeah,
much. Hey, I
absolutely.
appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Where,
Some great
where
people.
are we? Where are we right now?
We are live from the clubhouse. This is First Sip. First Sip airs every single morning live at 7:55, but it's the evening time and we're in person. We've got a live group with us. Again, the clubhouse, GK Television.
GK Live.
GK TV. So that's fantastic. And we're going to have some more folks come up. And who wants to come up? Philip Leroy.
Speaking of Upstate energy.
Come on up, Philip. Hey.
I got a little voice thing going on.
That's good.
Well,
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Well, hey, one of our more recent guests on First Sip.
Yeah.
Right?
It's only been about 2 weeks or so.
But let's think about what happened.
Yeah. Let's
Mm.
think.
We were trying to talk to you. You were on your phone,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and you kept getting call after call after call.
I
And
was.
we kept getting interrupted.
It was all great business deals that were happening, too.
Exactly.
It was all great business deals.
Was
That
it?
is because the Upstate is booming.
It is.
Do you agree, and why?
It absolutely is, and we're in construction. My name's Philip Leroy. We're in framing, trim, and demo. We work with a lot of residential contractors, and we do a little bit of commercial work too. And so we're getting to see firsthand a lot of the action and energy that's going on. And,
Absolutely. But now I want to talk a little bit about who you are. These folks don't know Philip. I know Philip from working. You were crunching numbers at George Dean Johnson here for a while, right?
I was. I've lived a couple different lives
Yeah.
in these long 31 years.
Yeah.
I was putting on a suit and tie for about 3 years down right in Morgan Square, working for Johnson Development, and I was an analyst there. And I lived the analyst life. I really grounded out for, I'd work 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And something was just tugging on me that said, hey, this isn't a long-term play. Mm-hmm. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. My dad is a different individual. He's been a big influence on my life. Mm-hmm. And started with purchasing a large portfolio of rental homes with a couple partners out in Cowpens a couple years ago, back in 2021.
Yeah.
And that coincided right with the end of my career at Johnson. And I left Johnson we had a good relationship by the end, and wrote a bunch of letters and left it because Spartanburg's good,
That's
small
probably
town.
a smart move.
Yeah.
Probably a smart move.
Spartanburg's a small town, number one, and the Johnson family is not necessarily one that you want to not be on good terms with.
That's
So
right.
Left
That's
on
right.
good terms, and eventually found out that construction's expensive. We were paying for a lot of construction. And I'm like, hey, I like construction too. I want to
Yeah.
work with my hands. And so we started this small business and hired a couple 23-year-olds that are a lot younger and a lot stronger than I am, a couple football players.
That's
So
awesome.
you say demo. There's no way that you went from an office job and you get out there and swing a sledgehammer. You hire people to do that, don't you?
Well, I did, and now I do the demo myself.
What?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, they would probably laugh at me because the 23-year-olds do a lot of the demo, but no, we have fun, and they're super hard workers. They're partners in the business actually, and that's been the
So
one
talk
of the.
about that.
Yeah, it's been a really unique switch. I know, man, in the construction industry, all I hear is it's hard to get young people into the industry. It's hard to get young people to want to work. It's hard to get young people to show up and want to learn. and it's strange. We're having the opposite experience. We have young guys that are fighting to get on our team. Now, we're a really small team. I got to be really clear about that. So if you're a big construction company, I get it. It's hard to hire 50. But we've had a really great experience with young guys, and I have the two guys that I work with, Garrett and Alec, are fantastic leaders, and I think there's a magnetism that they have that other young people see, and then they just want to be part of the team. My sister is one, so maybe this isn't quite fair, but she calls us. We had her working at a demo project. She calls us a lot. She says, when can I be back on the team? Wait, the team's meeting. The team's meeting together, and I'm not there, so the whole team isn't there. She's saying stuff like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And other young people that are just fighting to be on the team. So it's been an awesome experience. I think we've got a good culture, and we work hard, but we play hard too. And I've really enjoyed it.
I think it's awesome. It's an opportunity for you to bring in all of your skills, right? So you do the number crunching, you do know a lot about real estate, but you like to swing that hammer too and know a little bit about construction. So that's a great combo there.
Absolutely.
So thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Great
Fred.
to see you.
Appreciate you.
All right, more people on the way, and I think I want to have Mr. Chris come up and talk a little real estate in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Let's go. All right. And so, I know, how long, first of all, let's talk about how long have Chris and I been connected. I know you've known this guy for a while.
For a long time.
Mean jump shot too. Let me tell you
Mean
that.
jump shot.
Oh yeah.
Great basketball player, but yeah, you knew Fred. I didn't know that you knew Fred, but then me and you, I believe we had breakfast at Eggs Up Grill, and it's been several years
Been a
ago.
while.
And you were making that transition from a fantastic sales career into another type of career, into real estate. Tell us about that transition.
So I was one of the victims of COVID layoff. A company that I work for
That's
as
right.
a regional sales manager got sold to private equity, and they sold to another private equity, and then they do what they do.
Yep.
And so in October of 20, we're right in the middle of the pandemic, and I have a severance, which is great, but I have no job. And that's not a good place to be in when you've got a daughter in college and a son in high school. So a friend of mine who's now my business partner, Cindy Barrett's been in real estate many years in the Upstate, and Cindy said, I've been praying for you and thinking about you, and you're supposed to be doing real estate. And I said, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the sentiment, and maybe I'll get a license and dabble in it.
Yeah.
And I was going to start a consulting practice. That's what my focus was going to be on. Mm-hmm. And God had different plans.
Yeah.
And the consulting practice went to the back burner, and real estate went to the front burner, and here's where we are.
Tell us about the real estate experience so far. You had, again, you were in sales, and tell us what's different about real estate, what you like. Tell us about the experience.
I would say probably the biggest surprise about real estate is it really, in my experience in 4.5 years being in it, is a whole lot less about the numbers and square footages and lot sizes and all that sort of stuff, and it's a whole lot about people and motivation and psychology. Home is important for us. Memories are made there, and there's a whole lot of math and science that goes into it. But really, what I love about it is the people connection. And we've had a glut of relocations. If anybody's from the Upstate, you complain about the traffic. Sorry, we continue to bring people here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more.
Oh, it's going to get a lot worse, but they love it, and we ought to be proud of it. Because I grew up here. I've been here 45 years of my almost 49, and the Upstate's got a lot going for it. And if you've traveled, and I traveled in my former life, there's nothing like the Upstate. There's really not. So we're in a great place.
We're in a great place at a great time, and you're going to have plenty of people to work with because there's plenty of people moving here.
I want to talk about the perception of realtors.
Yeah.
Because y'all have it made, right? You get up at 9.
Or 10.
You show a couple houses. You make a killing.
Oh, yeah. 8 or 9 figures.
Yeah.
Most of the
Why
time.
doesn't everybody do it?
Well, I'm running clearly. Like I know Alex talked about his streak of running, and I thought I've probably gone over 10 years and I haven't ran a mile. So,
that's a streak in and of itself.
Which is evident, but I think realtors get a bad rap because there's so many of us. It's an industry that has a very low barrier of entry to get in. It's not very expensive. You don't have to have a lot of schooling. You do have to have some licensure, but a lot of people get in it to dabble, like I thought maybe I would.
Yes.
and there's some part-timers and weekend warriors, and there's room for all of that. But those that are doing it full-time and are in it, making it a business and not a hobby, it's a little different than what television portrays.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're the real deal, you hang out for a while.
I would say so.
Yeah.
What we don't get acknowledged and recognized for is keeping the deals together. So you get the glory of these closing, and we're on social media and all that, and that's cool and fun and that's exciting. But really, we earn our money behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That most of the time, if we're doing our jobs well, the clients never know what we're advocating for on their behalf. So.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much.
Y'all,
man.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
Fred.
being here. All right. I want to have Russ Hammond up. Come on up, Russ.
Let's go, Russ.
Russ Hammond. Every single morning, live 7:55. I know at least one person is going to be there, and that's Mr. Russ Hammond, and we appreciate that, Russ. It's nice to have somebody support us every morning. Why is it important to get your mind right in the mornings?
Well, that's the start of your day, first of all. Second of all, you guys have some good guests on. You guys drop some good nuggets.
Yeah.
We all need more wisdom, so
Yeah.
I look for wisdom everywhere. So
Well, let me ask you this. You've been watching it, and it's something I want to ask anybody, because at the end of the day, we want to do this. We want to help ourselves get ready for the day, and we want to help other people. What are some things that we can do? What are the types of things that you like? What could we do more of or less of? Is there anything that comes to mind?
now that you mention it,
Yeah, there you go. See?
The truth.
Yeah, the truth. Come on.
so your new layout,
Yeah.
you can't see the comments down below. So that's
Yeah.
that's my only thing. You have awesome guests on.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, you
guys-
can't see the comments popping up on the mobile that way.
Right.
Yeah, and
At
we-
least on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we need to see those comments, because that really helps people to interact and to be involved in it.
Just out of curiosity, what kind of boots are you wearing?
Red Wing, of course.
Red Wing. Why would you wear Red Wing?
It's all I wear 7 days a week. Red Wing or Red Wing products.
Do you own a Red Wing store?
I do, the one in Spartanburg and Johnson City, Tennessee.
Whoa. Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Do you really? I didn't know you owned the one in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
sneaky rascal.
And I've got another story about somebody that I met that worked with you at maybe when you were at this, what was it, at Sears?
I was at Sears for 13 years.
So at Sears for 13 years. So randomly, I was meeting someone at another meeting, and he told me about a previous. I think he worked at Sears previously, and he heard about Red Wing shoes, and he said Russ Hammond would be perfect for Red Wing shoes. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was. What do you think he saw at you working with you or for you at Sears when he said you need to get? What makes you a great manager and owner of a Red Wing shoes?
I think the same thing that makes me a good Red Wing shoe guy, because I care.
Yeah.
Care is what it's all about. When I had, the Sears Auto Center, I was the manager there, and
Yeah.
I cared about my people.
Yeah.
If there was a holiday and they needed off, it was them before me.
Yeah.
I mean, and whether it's shoes, cars, whatever, you got to be honest and you got to care. I'm not the smartest guy by any stretch. I'm a hard worker, but I don't have the most abilities, but I care.
Yeah.
And I work hard, and
People first.
Absolutely.
And tell me this too. We've got some folks that are part of companies and part of construction companies in the audience. Don't you guys have like a discount that you offer to companies that would buy all that? Tell us how that program works, if you would.
so we have a voucher program. They just need to call me, and I can set up a meeting with them.
Okay.
And we can dictate exactly what color shoe, how tall it is, whether it's lace up, pull on, whatever their parameters are, we can dictate it for that voucher, and then we give them a discount for being, for bringing us the business as well.
Well, and that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal to know that it's a value add for a company to say you can get you a pair of Red Wings.
Yeah, well, even something as small in the big scheme of things as shoes, we want to keep it in Spartanburg.
Absolutely.
You got to remember your feet's where everything starts. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
And,
Well,
and we stand behind our product.
Well, if
which is
people
good.
people can order offline, but they can go in, they can use some of that cool tech that you've got there for sizing stuff. We took Metal Man Matt in there, who's got a size what?
16.
A 16 shoe. If he can find a shoe for a 16 foot, he can find a shoe for you. So that is. But you have some cool technology to help people get the right shoe, the right fit. You've got a great return policy, and you just heard it from Russ himself. He's going to take care of you. You want people to be happy with what they buy, right?
100%, yeah.
So that's awesome. Russ, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Good to see you.
All right. Who you got on your mind, Fred? Anybody out there? I've got somebody I want to talk to, but I'm going to let you call on somebody if you got
Yeah.
somebody.
Do you think the people will remember the energy check?
The energy check?
Yeah.
You do it right now. I want you to
You
do
think-
the
will they
Will you
remember?
pull off the energy check? Yeah. No, you're going to need to tell it to them again.
I don't know. Can I get a Ric Flair? Woo! Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Can I get a Ric Flair? I love that. I want you to use that all the time. I want you to use that all the time. Moody Black. Hey, how about Jordan up to the stage?
Hey!
Oh, man. You know what? That's okay. That's okay. We'll catch you next time. You know what? You got to come say hello. You got to come say hello. My man Jordan, good to see you. And I tell you what, you were just on the podcast virtually here for probably the first time you were on a podcast. Didn't you tell me that?
That is correct. That is correct. And I was extremely nervous for whatever reason, but once I got on there, it was like, I do this every day. It's just kind of like talking to somebody on Zoom or whatever. So
Absolutely.
Same ordeal, yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
you looked comfortable,
Yeah.
and then you started spitting all these nuggets out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So when I'm comfortable, my favorite state is my creative state. You guys made it very easy. I told you guys you did a great job. You're a great host. It was, I was in my sunroom, so it was very relaxing. But one of the main things is I think the quote of the day from that was "Be the magic" or "You are the magic." One of those two things, and that's just, instead of waiting for things to happen on the time that's supposed to happen, take action in a positive way, have a positive mindset, and those outcomes will follow that. And no expectation, just continuously be that way, and it'll attract more of those like things to you.
And it's something that we feel, some people say, like, what kind of people are you looking for? I'm looking for good energy.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt when I was around him. It's something that people produce when they've got that mindset that makes us feel like we can collaborate, that we can do things, that we can run together. Isn't that true?
That is 100% true. And since the first time we got together, like you said, Instant Classic, I knew you were going to be somebody to definitely, go through life with and continue to grow our friendship from the first conversation. And I love how free you speak. Sometimes people, they bottle themselves up and they try to figure out what's comfortable to say and what not to say.
Yeah.
I think like within the first 30 seconds, he was like, "Hey man, listen." I was like, "All right, I'm here. We're present." So I always enjoy that energy. It's not about, being here but not being here. It's about being present, and that's why it's called the present. And, me personally is I'm enjoying the journey. Mm-hmm. I'm meeting some great people. And then you meet some people that might be great, but not on their great day, So,
that happens.
With that being said, everybody has the capability, but it's about putting aside the negative things and thoughts, feelings, and producing more of what you want to see.
Tell us about, real briefly here, tell us about you've been in sales, you've had a successful sales career, you're at Schooley Mitchell now. Tell us about your sales philosophy and what your approach is to how to go about talking to folks.
I just shared this with somebody. They actually left. But, so a lot of people believe in selling to people the way they think they want to be sold to and what they think matters. That never works. And oftentimes if it does work, that person was going to buy it. It probably would have bought it from a talking, cow, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter who it was. But the difference is once you learn that you have to obsess, like put yourself in their shoes, obsess about what it is that they care about, what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And once you're able to do that, you're essentially a conduit that they pass whatever their emotions or feelings, through to you. And your job is to receive it, process it, and transfer it back to them in a way that is meaningful, genuine, and like I said, received. And once you do that, that's the payment. That's why I do what I do. Everybody always asks me what's the secret. It's like, how present are you in the moment? You know, are you thinking about the end result, the sale? Like, oh, can you be my customer? Or are you thinking about truly what it is that keeps them up at night? Because if you are, you will know there's no surprises in the process.
It's
Everything
a person.
comes in. At the end of the day, everybody's a person. And my transition from retail sales to B2B has been a wild ride, but one that I enjoy so much. Just the process from going out and like being the hunter as opposed to
That's a big difference.
Yeah, so I had to build up my repertoire and my finesse and like figure out which spaces, but once I just put me back into me, it's like, you got that favorite toy. You're like, man, this thing used to work real good, but it don't work no more. But then you put, batteries in it, you put a little oil in it. Everybody's seen Wizard of Oz. You got the Iron Man. He can't move until you get a little bit of oil. But once all of that started happening, everything is all good and go.
Well, that's funny. You talk about you're a great relationship guy. So when I see somebody like you, I'm like, when he's in the box, good things are going to happen. That's why in retail they were coming into your box. Now you're going into their box.
That is correct.
Right?
That is correct. And I learned I never go empty-handed. I always take something, whether it's some wine, some biscuits, some nuggets, whatever. If they tell me like we're just having a little conversation, and I see that, they're eating something when we go out to lunch, I might get that specific meal catered to that person just to say, hey, just thinking about you.
I thought about you.
Right. And it's just the little things because, like, we're all human. We're here to serve each other. If there was just one person in the world, it was like, what would this one person do? Yeah. So we're here to be with each other. No, and I forgot his name, but the professor that was here speaking on the issues,
Mr.
Keenan and Alex, is more about, it's not about black and white, even though, most people, depict it that way or think of it that way. It's about your mind. And if your mind is not free, you think that way. So that way you see that way. And if you see that way, you ultimately attract things to be that way.
That's absolutely.
Even today, when you came in and we started talking, he wasn't trying to meet a bunch of different people. He said, hey, can you introduce me to somebody who I can have a meaningful conversation?
I like that. Yeah.
And I did have a meaningful conversation. Philip, he was just up here, had a great conversation with him.
Yeah.
We're the same age. And I thought he was pulling my leg at first, but because he got the beard, the hat, and all that good stuff. But then I was like,
in the company.
Right. And then I was like, I got a beard, and I guess I got a hat. So I was like, okay, we're the same age. And I found out I'm a little bit older than him. So, we got a lot in common, except for he might work a little bit more than me. I like the work-life balance. We'll figure that out, maybe. But, I did have some meaningful conversations for sure. Well, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you got a chance to come up here, Jordan.
Good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Give it up to Jordan. I want to talk a little IT. Information technology. I don't know. Is there somebody that can talk a little IT with me? How about Ed McMillan on up here? Let's go.
Let's go, Ed!
Yes, sir. All right. Here we go. We're going to talk a little IT because everybody loves talking IT. Don't you have an easy time just going out there and talking to everybody about IT?
You know what? If you want to watch people's eyes roll in the back of their heads, just talk tech. So we're figuring out we don't talk tech anymore. We talk outcomes.
Talk outcomes. Outcomes. Tell me why that's. I think this is interesting. Let's stay here. You've been in the technology space for quite some time.
Longer than I probably should be. I'm an abused child. Yeah.
But now you're back in Spartanburg working with IMS. Yep. And you guys talk to me about that change in philosophy of how you want to change your messaging and what you think companies are wanting now.
It's a great question. So think about it today that businesses are struggling with a lot of different things, and you can unpack that. It could be sales and marketing, it could be operational, it could be HR. I mean, all of these things that are core to businesses, right? So what we've learned with IMS is that we're trying to make this a crawl, walk, run approach, especially when we start talking about technology like AI. And we've got some really close friends that do this at really high levels.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Cameron Duncan and
Absolutely.
our
He
friends.
wanted to be here.
Yeah,
Cameron.
Cameron's a great guy. Jason C. at Worthwhile is another one that
Yeah.
we have a strategic partner with.
Yep.
Great folks. They do the development side of this, right? That's not what IMS does. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that companies have a platform to launch from that is really impactful to their business. And it's not a technology conversation per se, because here's the one thing we've learned is that when we start talking tech, everybody shuts down.
Yeah. They just don't understand it.
Well, and it's just not always a fun conversation.
Yeah.
You know, because
they
there's,
just want it to work.
there's 30 people behind us that do the exact same thing, right?
That's right.
So when we change the narrative of talking about how does AI affect your business, guess what it's not talking about? It's not talking just to the director of IT. It's talking to the CFO, the COO, the CEO, I mean the C-suite.
Impacts
right?
everybody.
Everybody, right? So a couple things we've learned, just real quick. Three
Yeah.
things that every businesses need to be thinking about today.
Yep.
AI needs to be secure.
Yes.
You know, so if you got security concerns around AI, we need to talk. Second thing is, most companies don't have the technologists in their company that actually understand what AI can do for them. So we're technologists, we help them solve that problem.
Absolutely.
And the third one is, and this is probably most important, just like I think Jordan was talking about, is they're trying to figure out an ROI on this thing. I'm going to pay all this money, what am I going to get out of it? And I think if we can just start with those three basic questions, then the ideation spins right out of it. So guess what we're not talking about? We're not talking about the technology of AI, we're talking about the outcome of AI.
I love that because I believe that we are in a transformative, obviously with AI, it's going to change the game. AI, I mean, your IT may become your HR in a certain kind of way, right? Eventually,
Yeah.
eventually, because you know you're going to have, it's going to be such an integral part of so many different things that we're doing. But before you do anything, I would say talk to somebody that you trust and get that layout. Get that layout of the land as far as what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Now,
So,
I just found this out today.
yeah,
I know his son.
yeah, I do.
And tell the people what you spread mulch with.
Oh, really?
It's got to be a Bobcat skid steer.
Let's go.
And ironically, if my oldest son did tell me about Freddie, and I'm going like, wait a minute, I know this guy because I watched them on First Sips.
Yeah.
Him and Daniel, you know, they're always, you know, working in a tag team environment.
Yeah.
And, you know, then, of course, Freddie tells me that, you know, he lives right around the corner from my
Yeah.
son. I'm going like, okay, now I got somebody put eyes on him, right?
Yeah.
But I told Freddie the story is when he told me, he said, Dad, just turn it on and start playing with it. I think that was the worst thing he could have told me because I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
And then when I started getting the hang of the joysticks, you couldn't pull me off.
Oh,
of it.
yeah, no.
Oh no, I'm going to work for Freddie next.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
wouldn't that be fun,
Oh.
man? I mean, just
Yeah,
those are really great. But I tell you what, the IT world, it's an exciting time. You're back in Spartanburg. There's a lot going on in Spartanburg. I know
ton.
you were in Greenville for some time. Now you're
I mean, we operate in the Carolinas all the way
Right.
up to Cincinnati, right?
Okay,
so,
yeah.
We keep I-26 hot.
yeah.
um,
Oh yeah. So IMS is all over the state.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, and I'm going to tag on to Freddie. Freddie said
Yeah.
37 years. I've got him by 1 year, being
Yeah.
up here in 38.
Good
right?
Okay.
But I tell people this story is I'm truly a man divided between two cities and have been for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
And the connective tissue was 85.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, I got to come back home and be based here. And man, what a godsend.
Yeah.
I don't miss 85 and I don't miss the trek to downtown Greenville.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
love
yeah.
Greenville, but I love Spartanburg more.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
This is home. So
Glad to have you
appreciate you,
here.
man.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, man. Thanks,
Ed.
appreciate you guys.
All right, give it up for Ed. Hey, and we'll talk a little more AI. I'm gonna have Remy come on up here. Remy to the stage. Come on. What's going on? Yeah.
Ready?
Been a while since we've seen this young man out at the workouts. Where have you been?
Absolutely. I've just been grinding hard. I got me a little home gym now,
Do
so I've
ya?
been working out there.
Okay,
Yep,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah, but what was that experience like? Of course, F3, that's where we met this guy.
Yeah.
What was that
Yeah.
like as a younger person working out with all these
Well,
somewhat older dudes?
I got to tell you, I found F3 at about the perfect time in my life. So
Yeah.
I was on a big physical kick at that time, and I was getting up every morning, running by myself, every
Oh, okay.
afternoon, doing 2-a-days, and just going absolutely nuts. And I got the nickname Hot Tub at F3 because I met one of the guys in the hot tub, and they invited me out to the group.
Was it the YMCA hot tub?
It was the YMCA hot tub after a morning run, and man, it was a great group of guys. I got to make new friends like you two, and really just opened up opportunities, made new relationships, and I mean that's what it's all about, right?
I can imagine going back to his age and getting a chance to run around with these older guys. That would have been something. I think.
You can be a sponge.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it was kind of fun when I ran one of the workouts, getting bossing you guys around a little bit.
I know. He did too good of a job with it. These young guys, they don't have any problem taking the leadership.
I tried to work the old guys. Work them up.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your career right now. You're kind of in the AI space, which is what made me think.
Yeah,
of you,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Catch
So
us up there.
we do AI phone calls. So we handle appointment booking for a lot of inbound calls for chiropractors. Right now is our main niche, and we're just handling everything. The number one missed opportunity that chiropractors have is a missed phone call, and 70% of their phone calls get missed. And so now we have set up with all of our clients that at any time somebody calls in at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can get an appointment right on their calendar and have a full conversation with their AI receptionist.
And this is going to say that the chiropractor who's just out of school, he just graduated Sherman, he doesn't have money to hire an assistant to answer that phone. Well, I've got an AI assistant now. I can serve patients.
Save money, boost revenue, all
problem solved.
Exactly.
70%.
70%. That's actually a statistic we got from a large franchise that was looking at it, and it's a big problem for them. So we're happy to be solving it.
Where else? You mentioned chiropractic. Is there anything else that you've seen out there that might benefit? I mean, obviously, right?
We know you probably are eyeing something.
Well, we talk about mentality, right? And this is a mentality business or a podcast that I'm on right now.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing is, we were a small team, right? And we still are a small team. We're growing. We dove into a bunch of different areas like that. And my kind of claim to fame, we were doing outbound calls for the Kennedy presidential campaign, which was huge. I mean, right in the beginning of everything that we were doing. And that, huge fire for me to keep going in this business. Yeah. And as we took on more projects, we got so spread out into so many different things that we couldn't do the next steps and really ideate on one idea before getting drugged down into another direction. Yeah. And so one thing that, of all the mistakes that we've made, the one thing that I've truly figured out is pick one thing and do it really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
And so now when we make a next step, it's in the same direction, moving in the same pathway forward, and that has been leaps and bounds.
That's awfully hard for me to do.
I know.
That's so hard.
It is. It's tough.
Do one thing.
There's so many shiny objects out there, and trust me, I was grabbing at all of them at one point. And,
but it is. I like that. Pick that one thing.
Pick your vertical.
Pick your vertical. Pick your niche.
Well, here's one thing about it too, and you have to figure out for yourself what really motivates you.
Yeah.
Some people, a loss, a defeat, can be like a huge fire for them to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
I'm not really like that. If I get really beat down, I kind of hide away a little bit.
I got to come back.
Yeah, but when I am winning, I just want to win more.
Oh, yeah.
And so I realized this about myself probably about 6 months back. And so now I even write down just the smallest little wins that I've been given and the momentum that I've been carrying just from doing that. Even on a bad day, I can still say, hey, I worked out today. Hey, I drank enough water today. I woke up today, thank God. All of these things, you can take these little wins, and that momentum drives me forward.
I love it. I always say if you want to get momentum, next best action. NBA, you got to go to the NBA.
Absolutely.
Because you do that next best action, and now, okay, I've done one positive thing, I've done one right thing. It's going to take one more, and I've got momentum.
And then even if it's a little win, you start stacking them up, and your confidence is through the roof.
Oh yeah, and that's microeconomics too. That small little change every single day, that compounding interest.
There you go.
Will just drive you forward.
Compound your personal growth and your financial growth. I like it.
Absolutely.
Great to see
thanks
you,
for
brother.
having me on, guys.
All right. Well, we've met a lot of fantastic people. Anybody else want to come up and talk with the average dude and Fred before we close it out? Any takers? Any takers? Want to come up?
I know one. He's in a blue shirt.
Come on up. Come on up, man. gotta say hello. And I've forgotten your name. Justin, good to see you, man.
Watch out for that step.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hey, we're on a golf
It's
team
the
right
rough.
now.
Yeah.
All right.
We're on that golf team. All right. So, Justin, tell us about yourself. I know that I was connected with you, but I've been talking to so many people.
Okay,
and so I'm
Jaron connected us. Jaron?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, he does IT,
Jaron.
telecommunications. We work
Yes.
in the low voltage space together.
That's
So-
right. And so now I am kind of remembering.
Yeah.
You see that wheel coming back
Yeah,
around?
yeah.
I see it, I
The
see
wheels,
it.
they're a little
Small circle.
slower. They're a little
Yeah.
slower. But now he told me some really impressive things about your AV company.
Yeah.
That you've done a lot of work over the United States, I believe
Yeah,
he
we've
told
done
me.
stuff all over the U.S. So I've been in this business. Me and my business partner, 30 years combined.
Yeah.
Commercial audio visual. We do anything from the restaurants, hotels to arenas and house of worship. Pretty much anything that has audio visual or lighting services.
Well, now churches, that's a big deal, isn't it?
It is,
AV
yes.
in churches.
Yeah, very
and,
large.
And now let me ask you this. You've got a new construction church. When would you want to get into that process to do AV?
So we want to start early on when you're trying to conceptualize things. We do full CAD drawings, so we actually talk to you about the design phase. We can show you what it's going to look like. If you've got an LED screen behind you, if you've got speakers flying in the air, all those things really impact the experience inside the room. So we want to talk to you on the early stage so that we can design that room to fit very well with your intentions for that space. So the acoustics matter. It's not just about putting up speakers in the room and making it louder. How do those speakers impact the room once you start putting sound into the room? Is it going to reflect off the walls? Are people going to have intelligibility? Can they understand what you're even saying when you're trying to communicate your message? So the audiovisual aspect is very, very important to people actually experiencing the message that you want to convey.
A lot of stuff people don't think about.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
So-
it does a lot to create that emotion, right? You go to church, you have the right lights, you have the right music, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're in the right space.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so, and that's true wherever we go. That's why AV is important.
Very much. So we just actually did a restaurant that had bought speakers from Amazon, very commercial but consumer grade quality of equipment, and we showed them the difference. When we replaced the speakers that they had essentially burnt up, we showed them the difference between the cost-effective commercial grade and the Amazon commercial grade, and it was exponentially different. And after post-installation, he was like, man, I can't believe just the intelligibility. He said they had consistently fought volume in the room, because in a restaurant, you want background music.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want someone to come into a dead space. It's very weird to walk into a restaurant and you don't hear anything. But he fought the volume difference between background music and people being able to hear each other while they're in their very high-end restaurants.
Wow.
And after we installed those cost-effective solutions for them, he was blown away by the difference. So we can fit your budget, but most of the time people just don't understand it's back to the technical side that you guys were just talking about. People don't understand it, so they think that I'll just go to Best Buy or I'll go to Amazon and buy something. It's very much, the process is very meticulous to get.
You got two different outcomes.
100%, yeah, and we can meet your budget and still give you the right solution.
Yeah.
But most of the time, people just want to try to negotiate to the bottom, and that bottom end solution is just not the same. The consumer grade products that you put into your restaurant aren't going to last the same way that a commercial product would. So it's important to understand the difference.
So now I'm thinking about, I'm a sales guy, business development guy, and I'm thinking about who is in this room and who has eyes on things that might be similar to what you might want to have eyes on. And I thought about Aaron Jacobitz. You know? So he does refrigeration. You said restaurants, and he said restaurants.
Absolutely.
High-end restaurants. And so this is how we think kind of collaboratively, right?
Absolutely,
This is how my brain goes. And so Aaron does a great job getting out there. He's talking to a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of an interesting conversation. This is really what networking, getting good information, good energy. This is why we do this.
Is this what you call networking 2.0?
Networking 2.0. Come on, let's go. Let's get excited. No, so I do want to say this too. If a church has existing AV and you wanted to and they want to change that, how does that process generally go?
So we try to re-implement anything that's existing into the infrastructure to keep budgetary constraints as reasonable as possible. So
Yeah.
sometimes what
It
happens
gets crazy,
is,
I know.
yeah, I mean the reality is sometimes you bought a really functional, ample system for the space, but it was deployed wrong, right? So the speakers weren't put in the right place, the lighting wasn't set in the right position. We can redesign that space, and we've done it several times, where we can redeploy your existing system without
Interesting.
having to buy something completely new.
I like
or
that.
potentially what happens is you come into a space, there's a lot of concrete, there's drywall on the walls, those reflections coming from the newly installed amplified system are causing weird cancellations inside the room. So we could just simply put up acoustical treatment that cancels out all those things that are bouncing back in the room. We don't even have to buy a new system. So what we try to do is work with you to understand the functionality of the system, the desires for the space, and redeploy that the best possible. Now, if you bought an undervalued system, obviously in the case of the restaurant where the system was burnt out, they bought the wrong product, we try to give them something new. But if we can reutilize something existing inside the space, we don't want you to spend money on stuff that you don't have to.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Justin? All right. Hey,
Perfect. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for being here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Any more folks? Hey, DJ, we got to get DJ up here. Come on up, DJ. One more person, unless somebody else wants to go.
And then we
DJ.
can't forget the host for sure.
Oh yeah, we got to get.
Freddie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
we're gonna.
But I feel like we know each other.
Somewhat, there's a weird feeling like that.
Yeah. Here we go. Well, DJ, you've been on First Sip.
I have.
You've joined us a couple of times on First Sip, just on being a guest. Wait, joined as a guest, and then you come in every day and you listen to it.
Yeah,
I try to comment.
Yeah, and we appreciate every one of those comments, man. It puts a smile on my face when I see DJ's comment. Why mindset every morning? Why do you think that's important? What motivates you to get on there?
Just, I need a different mindset. I mean,
Yeah.
I need hear something different other than the griping that I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a safety guy.
Right.
Nobody likes the safety guy unless they want to get away
That's
with
a
something.
fact. Nobody likes the safety guy. Why
Yeah.
is that?
Because we're the professional party pooper.
The professional party pooper. Hey, here comes DJ. He's getting ready to put
Well,
on
they
a party.
do that too. They do that.
Oh, put your orange vest on.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll look at him and like, safety glasses, gloves.
Hey, yeah, you just point, you look at him and you point.
Yeah, and I can the side I'm at now. I could walk a mezzanine.
Yeah.
And I can just sit there.
Oh no,
and
like
just,
a prison guard.
That's what
just
I
look
was
down on him. And I'm just sitting there going, "Hi, I'm watching you."
But you've done a lot of interesting things. You drove an ambulance for a while, didn't you?
I was a paramedic full time for 7 years.
Paramedic for 7 years. What's that like?
Yeah, that's a different day every time you go to work, and you get to meet all sorts of interesting people.
Yeah.
that do some interesting things.
Absolutely.
Make some bad decisions.
Absolutely. Keep going. You're gonna roll there.
Yeah. Now I heard that a lot of times alcohol was involved in accidents. Was that your experience as you were?
Oh yeah, quite often.
Yeah.
Quite often.
People, all sorts of things. Car wreck. What was the thing that you didn't want to roll up on? Are you got a pretty good strong stomach?
Yeah,
Do
for the
you?
most part. Yeah.
Yeah, that would bother me. Would you got a strong stomach, Fred?
If I have to.
Do you? Okay, yeah. I don't. It don't matter if I do or don't. I don't. I'm sorry. But what about you? No call was going to scare you. You're like, oh no, I've got to go do one of those.
There were moments. There were some that tested the intestinal fortitude sometimes, and you know, say to yourself, I'm not going to hurl, I'm not going to hurl, I'm not going to hurl, and then you clear off the call. Like, okay, where are we eating lunch at today?
No matter how bad it smells, I'm not gonna hurl.
I'm not going to hurl.
Yeah. But today, you show up to work. You have your responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Do people adjust? Do they enjoy you? Do you make it easy to be safe?
Well, a lot with safety is like what you're doing. It's relationships. And if I don't go out and build those relationships with superintendents, the project managers, because the safety actually relies more on the frontline leadership. I'm more of an on-site consultant, sometimes cop.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I've had to, play the cop. This is it. Or then there's the times like, okay, we have a situation. How do we got to be safe in doing this. Let's come up with a process, or let's work through it together. So that's had to be built. Especially dealing with some of our, the OG folks. They've been doing it for decades, long before I started in it. And so now it's just like, okay, what have you done in the past? Okay, you can't really do that anymore, or we got better technologies and better systems in place. Let's try this now, or can we get it through this way? So working with them, I've seen it improve.
Yeah, it can be overlooked, but it is crucial on job sites to be safe, because something can happen in a blink of an eye.
Everybody needs to go home at the end of the day.
Somebody's life.
That's the goal. Everybody needs to go home the same way they came, only just maybe dirty and tired. Other than that, let's go home with all appendages you came to work with.
Yeah. you know what I want to do? I want to have a field day where we're running Bobcat equipment. We've got landscapers out there. And we're talking safety.
We use the mini X's and the skid steers and stuff. So, it's not like you just pick it up and you run with it. Some people try. I'm like, hey, have you been checked off on that?
Yeah.
And then I gotta go find somebody that's already been checked off. And okay,
that's right. You're in construction.
Yeah. And then even on electrical side, what does the electrician need in the skid steer for? There's a lot of underground work on some of these big projects.
Yeah.
More than people know.
There's a lot of dirt moving and going on.
There is a lot of dirt moving. There's a lot of safety too. DJ, thank you, man.
Guys, I appreciate it.
Appreciate
you
so
so
much. Yes, sir. Well, Fred, we've talked to so many people here today, this evening. I believe, we're going to go ahead and close things up. I want to thank the clubhouse for hosting us this evening. Of course, Mr. James Brady. Big shout out to James Brady.
Are you coming up here, James?
No. GKTV, GK. And so we appreciate everybody being.
What can people do at the clubhouse? You can rent the space.
Absolutely.
Wedding parties,
golf simulator, corporate events, parties. Hey, and then you can have the average dude and Fred come in and talk to all your people. Wouldn't that be fun? So hey, tomorrow morning live 7:55. Fred, you gonna be there?
Let's go. Of course I'll be there.
Let's do it, folks. All right. See ya.